Coming up, will Ryan Poles make the hard decision if it comes down to it? I think you all know what I mean. Stay tuned here on Chicago Bears Now. I'm Harrison Graham. Bears coming off a tough loss to the Commanders in another big game where Matt Eberflus made some late game mistakes and lost in tough fashion. And on today's show, we're going to kind of just explore the topic of, will Ryan Poles make the tough decision to move on from Flus after this year if this continues? I'm still slightly open-minded to maybe this getting turned around. I'm not confident in it, but I'm willing to give this the rest of the season. I don't think a midseason firing is going to happen. Lose to the Patriots in 2 weeks, I might change my mind. But assuming that doesn't happen, play this out, see what happens. But if this continues, if these type of results in big spots, road record, horrible, divisional record, horrible, record against 500-plus teams, atrocious. If that is more the same the rest of the way, you got 10 games left. 10 games left? Yeah, 10 games left. Then I think it's pretty obvious what you have to do. Will Ryan Poles do it? I don't know. He's been pretty loyal to Matt Eberflus. Here's what you got left. Right now, I think you got to look at this as a 2-week season. At Arizona, Patriots at home. Haven't won on the road yet this year. Got to win this game against Arizona, and then you got to beat New England. If you do that, you're 6-3, and then you've got the gauntlet. 6 divisional games, and then San Francisco and Seattle sandwiched in there. You probably got to go 4-4 in those. That would get you to 10-7. If you go 4-4 in those 8 games, that means Flus has won some high-level games. He would get a lot of credit for that. And that's the reality, man. Other than the Patriots, because at Arizona this week's not going to be easy. Other than the Patriots at home, there's no easy games left. There just aren't. You're going to be underdogs in a lot of games. If the Bears did get to 10 wins, that would be a good accomplishment. Would it be to a level of like, yes, you for sure got your head coach for the next decade? I'd have to see that play out. But you'd feel a lot better about the situation. So the clock is clearly ticking on Matt Eberflus. He's got a lot to prove. I still don't think he could be a high-level head coach. And if I'm right, then it's going to be up to Ryan Poles to make a change at the conclusion of the 2024 season. Predict it for me. Will the Bears get to 10 wins? You're going to have to get to 10 to make the playoffs in the NFC. I don't think 9's getting there. Type Y for yes. Type in for no. Will Chicago get to 10 wins? Sound off in the comment section below. So what's plan B? If Matt Eberflus flops, if he fails, what direction should the Bears go in next season? Well, here's my dream. I would hire Ben Johnson as the head coach, and I would hire Robert Saleh as the defensive coordinator. That would be the dream scenario. Because Ben Johnson is by far the best up-and-coming, young, offensive play caller guy, right? I think he is separated from the Slowicks and Clint Kubiaks and all these other people. Waldron. I think he's clearly in a league of his own. He's got a lot of talent to work with, I understand. But just watch the creativity of their offense. It's pretty impressive to watch. And I was thinking about this driving home after the Bears lost to the Commanders. And I asked myself this question, and you think about it watching at home. What do you think the Bears' record would be this season if Ben Johnson was the Bears' head coach? I think it'd be better than 4-3. I think it's at least 5-2, maybe 6-1. Now, I can't say for sure. I've never seen Ben Johnson as a head coach, but I feel pretty confident that you beat Washington yesterday, and I think you beat Indianapolis. Probably more confident in the Indy game, honestly. Like, losing that game to Anthony Richardson, really? That's kind of a joke, if we're being completely honest. He couldn't complete passes. So I think you would be at least 5-2. Now, maybe you don't win the Tennessee game because weird shit happened, who knows? But I think you'd be at least one game better. And if that's your answer, shouldn't you be looking for an upgrade? That's just how I see it. More to come on this show. Download the Game Time app. We are sponsored by Game Time today. Looking to go to an event, concert, comedy show, sporting event. Football season's ongoing. Basketball and hockey are here. It's time to go watch your favorite teams. Get off the couch. I love watching my favorite teams play live at stadiums, especially big-time college football, and I've used Game Time on numerous occasions to go watch several games. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks, which makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play much easier. It'll filter out the fluff to show you the best deals on the best seats, so you don't have to scroll through thousands of tickets. That's what Game Time Picks does. So whether you're getting tickets for a sporting event, concert, comedy show, or anything else, Game Time has you covered with views from the seats, super deals, which are the best bang for your buck, and last-minute tickets for the lowest price guaranteed. So download the Game Time app today. Use code CHATSPORTS, all one word, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off your first purchase only right now. That's code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Terms apply. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It is game time. You look at the Lions' offense this year, and the eye test should tell you enough, but you dive into the numbers, and it's like, yeah, it's pretty easy to figure out why they're dominant. They're top 7 in every category, and quite frankly, the yards would be up if they weren't just bulldozing people late in these games. Like yesterday, they scored 52 points in 3 quarters, so they're just they're laying off the gas. Only 5 turnovers in 7 games. They don't turn the ball over. Good on the money downs. Good in the red zone. They score a lot. But I think the most important thing he's done, and I don't want to diminish Jared Goff because I think he's a good player. We saw him be a good player with the Rams. But his last year and a half with LA, he kind of lost his way to a point where Sean McVay was like, it's been a nice run, but I don't think I can get back to a Super Bowl with this guy. I'm going to go trade for an older Matt Stafford. Look at what this guy has done in the last 3 seasons, and he's getting better still. Like Goff came in with a history of being good, but was down, struggled his first year in Detroit. They hired Ben Johnson. This guy just is reborn. I mean, he's a true MVP candidate this year. Like, he helped salvage Goff's career. Again, I don't want to diminish Goff. I think Goff's a good player. I'm not saying Ben Johnson just flipped some switch and magic happened. But I think we'd all be silly to say that he hasn't played a major role in Goff not only being reborn, but playing better than he ever did with the Rams. I think that's the most impressive part. It's not that just he got back. He's gotten better. Like, he looks like a totally different guy under Ben Johnson. And those are some of the things he brings to the table. Elite play calling experience, not just play calling experience. Like Shane Waldron had 3 years of good-ish, better than what you've had. This is elite play calling experience for 3 years now, 22, 23, 24. His ability to maximize a quarterback. I mean, and Goff is still improving, by the way. Like, Goff is a top 5 guy right now with the way he's playing. And that's with the quarterback that can't move. He's creative with his play calling, his designs, knowing when to call certain plays. I think that's like the second part of being a play caller. It's like, okay, 1, do you have good design? 2, do you know when to call the right plays? He does both. And I think he balances, and the Lions in general balance the ability to be tough on offense with the physicality they play with. Some of that's personnel, which Ben Johnson doesn't control all the players they bring in, and he's got a lot of good ones. So, it makes it a little easier. But his clever play calling. Like, they're tough when they need to be, and they're finesse and play on the perimeter when they need to be. Like, they do it all. Some of that's players, some of that's coaching. And Ben Johnson, I like his ability to bring creativity to the table. I mean, he's doing all kinds of shit this year if you're watching them play. And look, there's always this question, and it's always going to be a fair question from now until the end of time. We've seen it time and time again throughout the history of the sport. There's no guarantee that an awesome coordinator can be an awesome head coach. But I think he's more than worth the chance to swing on. Like, what is the reservation here? Now, I haven't interviewed the guy. It was a little weird. He canceled that second interview with Washington last year, but he came out, released a statement, and said, look, I got unfinished business here in Detroit, and they're absolutely balling out and blowing people out. Like, he's comfortable. That's another thing. He's been in this division. He knows the league. He would know Detroit very well. Like, not only do you get him, you take him from that juggernaut right now. Guys, I know it sucks to hear the Lions are a juggernaut. The Bears should want to be the Lions. As crazy as that sounds. And if Ben Johnson can help you do that, you pair him with the talent of Caleb Williams, that is very intriguing to me. So, I don't know what's going to happen. I can't say I'd know for sure if he would take this job. I feel pretty confident that Ben Johnson would be very intrigued by staying in the NFC North and coaching Caleb Williams. That's just my opinion. Can't say he'd do it for sure. But if you want Ben Johnson in Chicago, type me in the comments below because he's my top guy. There's not really a close second right now. There's other guys I would like. But if Matt Eberflus doesn't work out, Ryan Poles needs to have the stones to do what he needs to, get a new head coach, and hopefully that guy is Ben Johnson. And ideally, he'd bring in a guy like Robert Saleh because a first-time head coach, ideally, whether he specializes in defense or offense, the other coordinator who runs the other side of the ball, ideally, is someone with a lot of experience. And Saleh has that. 4 years as a defensive coordinator with San Francisco. Last 2 years, they were elite. 3.5 years as a head coach with the Jets. I get it didn't work out. Say this, though. Look at the Jets right now. They have gotten way worse without him. One thing you could say about Saleh, kind of like with Eberflus, at least the defense is going to play well. And Saleh, I think, would learn from those experiences, and we know he can handle the defensive side of the ball. He's a natural leader type. Players gravitate to him. Like, as a DC, I love him. Just like Flus. I love Flus as a DC. I don't want him as a head coach, but Saleh would help bring that experience in here. That way, not everything is on Ben Johnson's plate, because I want Ben Johnson to call the plays. I don't want to bring in a guy that wants to be the CEO. I want you to call the plays, Ben Johnson. Like, that's what I want. That's why you're a strong candidate. So if you could pair those two together, that would be awesome. Now, there's things to consider. Robert Saleh runs a 3-4. You've built a defense around a 4-3. I think the personnel you have, you'd be able to transition to a 3-4. I think Saleh's smart enough. You could be kind of multiple on defense. I don't think it would have to just be like a rigid 3-4, kind of like Flus. He's kind of a rigid 4-3. Obviously, he's a great defensive play caller, but he's not that multiple. Saleh, his base is 3-4, so that's something to consider. But also, like, big picture, I'm just not that worried about the defense and the defensive coordinator. Why? Because my entire life, and most of your guys' entire lives, and really throughout the history of this franchise, the defense has been good at minimum and awesome at most. Like, there's maybe 2 years in the last 25 years where the defense has been bad. 2 or 3. There was that 1 year under Trestman, and then a year under John Fox. I don't even count the Eberflus first year because there was just no players on this roster. Every year, what are we talking about? Defense is good. Can the offense do their part? I want the offense to improve, and I want to have a better head coach. And ideally, that's the same guy, Ben Johnson. Head coach, play caller, let's freaking go. That is my dream scenario if this Flus thing continues to go down the path that I think we all think it is. All right, there you go. Chicago Bears now. Ryan Poles. Will he do it if it comes down to it? Can the Bears convince Ben Johnson to come here? Obviously, there's an unknown. Man, I would love to see it.